Welcome to Cineights, where you get to know the best movies and series. Today's video is about movies that will blow everyone away in 2025. I hope you enjoy this video. Be sure to watch until the end because I'm sure you will like it. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Megan 2.0 January 17, 2025. In the early months of 2023, Megan emerged as a runaway horror hit for Universal Pictures, setting the stage for another round of adventures for the killer doll and the family she's out to keep, no matter the cost. It took just days for the studio to greenlight a sequel after the film's premiere, confirming that M3GAN 2.0 Inches would reunite writer Akilah Cooper and stars Allison Williams and Violet McGraw, with director Gerald Johnston also potentially returning for the second film. We still don't know much about what the follow-up will do in terms of story, but the original film leaves a teaser that suggests Megan has managed to survive as a piece of software moving between systems, so it's possible she'll get a new body the second time around. Whatever happens, we know we won't want to miss it. We also won't have all that long to wait, as the sequel is set to be one of the first major releases of 2024. Paddington in Peru, January 17, 2025. The first two Paddington films in the live-action franchise of the same name are almost universally beloved, with Paddington 2 Inches in particular singled out as one of the best movies of its kind, well, ever. That's a lot to live up to, but the success of the first two films means that someone has to try, so in 2025, we'll get a trip to Peru courtesy of everyone's favorite British bear. Paddington in Peru will be the first film in the series not to be directed and written by Paul King, though both King and his Paddington 2 Inches co-writer Simon Farnaby will stick around to help develop the story. Title suggests the new film will take Paddington to South America. His family are supposed to have a nice visit but end up stuck in the rainforest instead. In addition to Wishaw, Paddington in Peru will feature fellow returning cast members Hugh Bonneville, Madeline Davis, Samuel Joslin, Julie Walters, and Jim Broadbent, with Emily Mortimer stepping in for Sally Hawkins. In terms of new cast members, Paddington will be joined by the likes of Olivia Colman, Rachel Zegler, and Antonio Banderas. Captain America Brave New World, February 14, 2025. As of this writing, we've still got a whole year of movies to get through before 2025 comes along. The list of films worth looking forward to in 2024 is long and includes lots of major releases, including big franchise tentpoles and major independent drops from acclaimed filmmakers. But of course, it's never too early to start thinking about the future, so let's take a look ahead to 2025. In 2025, we're expecting yet another round of major franchise releases, from several Marvel Cinematic Universe entries to high-powered horror sequels to the long-awaited launch of a new era of movies based on the heroes of DC Comics. We'll also enjoy a pair of Disney live-action remakes, a new Pixar adventure, and adaptations of beloved media. In short, 2025 is shaping up to be a great year for cinephiles. From M3GAN 2.0 Inches to Avatar 3, here are the films we're excited to eventually check out in 2025. How to Train Your Dragon, March 14, 2025. After 3 hit animated movies, 3 animated series, and countless spin-offs into other realms of entertainment, the How to Train Your Dragon franchise is still going strong, but there's one frontier it hasn't conquered yet. In 2025, that changes. The franchise is gearing up for its first ever live-action entry. As of this writing, we've still got a whole year of movies to get through before 2025 comes along. The list of films worth looking forward to in 2024 is long and includes lots of major releases, including big franchise tentpoles and major independent drops from acclaimed filmmakers. Of course, it's never too early to start thinking about the future, so let's take a look ahead to 2025. 2025, we're expecting yet another round of major franchise releases. Snow White, March 21, 2025. The Walt Disney Company has spent a lot of time over the last decade making live-action updates of its animated classics. But, despite an ever-growing roster of new live-action films, Disney's original animated masterpiece hasn't gotten the adaptation treatment until now. In 2025, Snow White will finally head into the remake realm, and she'll do it with A-list talent behind her. Directed by Mark Webb and written by Greta Gerwig and Aaron Cressida Wilson, this new vision of Snow White's tale will star Rachel Zegler, the breakout lead from Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, in the title role. Of course, every Snow White needs an evil queen, and for that honor Webb and company turned to Wonder Woman herself, Gal Gadot. In the promise of some new songs and storytelling twists, and it's got event movie written all over it, if only because we all want to see how Disney will rework its breakthrough animated film. The Exorcist. Deceiver, April 18, 2025. In the fall of 2023, Halloween, and Halloween Kills, director David Gordon Green stepped up to deliver a new legacy sequel for a different horror franchise. Set 50 years after the first film, The Exorcist Believer combines old and new characters to tell a story of possession in a small southern community, with original Exorcist star Ellen Burstyn along for the ride. The story doesn't end here. Believer was announced as the first part in a new trilogy of Exorcist films and the second film in the saga, The Exorcist. Believer will arrive in 2025. We know the title and the projected release date. There's still a lot about this movie that's very uncertain. Not sure if Green will return to direct the second installment, and while there's certainly room for stars like Burstyn and Dowd, Leslie Odom Jr. to return for the sequel, we don't know casting news yet either. What we know is that the film is on the horizon, and we'll hopefully get more news soon. The Batman Part 2, October 3, 2025. One of the most acclaimed genre films of 2022, Matt Reeves' The Batman, gave us a moody, exciting new spin on The Dark Knight, played with brooding intensity by Robert Pattinson. The film was a success both critically and commercially, setting things up for a sequel featuring more adventures for the latest actor to don the cape and cowl. In 2025, after a 3-year wait, we get to see what's next. As the title suggests, The Batman Part 2 will pick up after the events of the first film and show us what this universe's version of Bruce Wayne will face next. Reeves is once again back in the director's chair, but beyond that we don't have too many details regarding the story or the returning cast. There are, of course, plenty of avenues and dark alleys in Gotham City to explore, and we're eager to see which one Reeves chooses this time. Plus, since this is considered an Elseworlds title separate from James Gunn's main DC universe, Reeves can do whatever he wants. Avatar 3, December 19, 2025. It took more than a decade for James Cameron to finally release Avatar: The Way of Water, his long-awaited sequel to Avatar, but for many fans it was worth the wait. The sequel was once again a blockbuster and paved the way for the rest of Cameron's ambitious story to move forward. Thankfully, we won't have to wait that long for a third installment. Avatar 3, which has yet to receive an official subtitle, is set to hit theaters over the 2025 holiday season, and will once again feature Cameron in the director's chair, guiding his characters through the world of Pandora. Alongside Cameron will be returning cast members Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, Stephen Lang, Kate Winslet, and many more stars. We don't yet know exactly where the film will take Jake Sully and his family as they enter the next stage of the fight for their home, but we know it'll be spectacular. Elio, June 13, 2025. In 2025, Pixar Animation Studios will celebrate 30 years since the release of Toy Story, its first feature animated film and the start of one of the most impressive creative runs anyone can remember. But Pixar's not just all about its beloved franchises. The studio continues to churn out original films based on exciting ideas from up-and-coming talent, and Elio is the latest one to emerge from that tradition. Written and directed by Coco writer Adrian Molina, Elio tells the story of the titular boy as he's unexpectedly beamed up and out of his earthly home and into a kind of intergalactic senate, where representatives from countless worlds gather to discuss the well-being of the universe. Taken for Earth's representative, Elio must learn how to speak for a whole planet while making new friends along the way. A promising plot, and a voice cast that includes standouts like America Ferrera, Jamila Jamil, and Brad Garrett, Elio sounds like our kind of space adventure. Film beams up June 13, 2025. Mission Impossible 8, May 23, 2025. In 2021, we learned the plan for the future of the Mission Impossible franchise is back-to-back 7th and 8th installments, shot almost simultaneously and geared toward a massive send-off of Tom Cruise's lead character, Ethan Hunt. Now, it seems many of those plans have changed, but no matter what the story turns out to be, we're still getting an 8th movie in 2025. Cruise will of course return as Hunt, alongside writer-director Christopher McQuarrie, and stars Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, Haley Atwell, Vanessa Kirby, and Palm Clementif. Originally billed as Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2, the film now has no official subtitle, as things get somewhat retooled following the release of Dead Reckoning Part 1. What the new title will be isn't clear. And it's also not clear that the film is intended as a conclusion, as McQuarrie has noted there are still plenty of ideas for more installments. Thunderbolts, July 25, 2025. Thunderbolts feels like a payoff to years of Marvel Cinematic Universe storytelling. The kind of film that couldn't happen without a half-dozen other stories in between. In 2025, we'll finally get to see if all that piecing together turns into something exciting. Based on the comic book team of the same name, Thunderbolts will star a group of anti-heroes and former villains from throughout the MCU, including Bucky Barnes, Yelena Belova, John Walker, Ghost, Red Guardian, and more, all under the watchful eye of Contessa Valentina Allega de Fontaine. What kind of hijinks will this team get up to? We don't know yet, but we do know to expect something like a Suicide Squad for the MCU, with loads of characters and lots of action. The film was originally supposed to arrive at Christmas 2024, but has since been pushed back to July 25, 2025, right in the middle of summer movie season. Blade, November 7, 2025. If Blade makes its November 2025 release date, more than 6 years will have passed since Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige announced the film at the 2019 San Diego Comic-Con. A lot has happened since then, including a voice cameo for the character in Eternals, 2 strikes, and multiple changes in writer and director. But at last, the film seems to be on track. Oscar winner Mahershala Ali is, of course, still on board to play the title character, a half-human, half-vampire hero who hunts monsters and talks tough. At the moment, the creative team backing him up includes director Yann Demange and Oscar-nominated writer Michael Green, who previously worked on Logan. Beyond that, well, we really don't know what to expect. The film was originally set to arrive earlier, but has since been pushed back to November 7, 2025. Moana, June 27, 2025. Moana is still less than a decade old, but the story of an island girl who finds a way to navigate the oceans and save her homeland also stands as one of Disney's great 21st century success stories. It's no wonder, then, that the studio is hoping to take that success and turn it into box office gold in the form of a live-action remake. That's right, live action, Moana, is coming, and it'll probably look a lot like the animated Moana. Quote. Why? Well, the film will once again feature Dwayne Johnson as the demigod Maui, bringing his animated role to life on the big screen alongside a still unannounced new Moana. Original star Ali Carvalho is set to serve as an executive producer on the film, while Hamilton, director Thomas Kyle will helm the action. Beyond that, we still don't know much about what this new version of Moana will bring to the table. Superman Legacy, July 11, 2025. In November 2022, James Gunn became co-head of DC Studios, and in the process ushered in a new era for DC's superhero films. In 2025, the first fruits of all that work will finally emerge in the form of Superman Legacy, the first standalone Superman film since Man of Steel, more than a decade earlier. Written and directed by Gunn, the new film is set to star a younger version of the title character, thus introducing a new version of the DC universe that Gunn and company can build out into something exciting. In March 2023, Gunn revealed that David Corenswet is his choice to play the new Superman, while Rachel Brosnahan will play Lois Lane. This casting news sets the stage for an exciting new era of Superman stories, but that's only the beginning.